Hello guys, in this video we're going to talk about yet another concept very crucial when dealing with functions in Python. This is the concept of arbitrary arguments. Arbitrary arguments. Now, sometimes you may not know the number of arguments that you need to supply to a function. So in such a case, then the concept of arbitrary arguments comes in handy. Now, what we're saying is you're creating a function that accepts parameters, but you don't know how many parameters you're supposed to give. In that case, you use arbitrary arguments. Now, this is how we go about it. So I will define, rather def my function, let's say, and I want my function to hold a number of children in a particular or in a family. This may vary because you may find that a given family has 5 children, another family has 3 children. So these arguments are varying based on family. So in that case, you use one keyword, one asterisk and keyword. So in this case, I want to my function to print out number of children in a given family. So I can give like that. So whenever you see one asterisk, it means this function accepts inputs, but the number of inputs it is supposed to accept is not defined. So you can give it varying number of inputs. So in this case, I can say maybe print the youngest child is, then let me say kids, and then I want to go to the last index, maybe -1. And so I'm assuming that the way the array will be, or the list will be, it will have the names are organized in order of their birth, so that the elder son appears first and then the last child appears last, or youngest child appears last. So if now I call my function and say this is Tom's family, so a scenario is where we have Tom's family having children Ben, Mary, and Tim, where Tim is the last child. So if I call my function with this and we end up with Ben and Tim, then in this case we are saying we were not sure how many children were there, so we ended up using the keyword argument. So let's see what this gives us. It works. The youngest child is Tim. Now in this case our arguments were 3. What if we look at Bob's family, which has 4 children? So with the older child being Peter, Peter is followed by James, and James is followed by Maria, and Maria is followed by John, where John now is the youngest child. So in this case, we can have John coming in at that position, and there we go. So what we are saying is you want to create a function. At design of the function, when you're designing the function, you know it's going to accept input, which is the number of children within a given family. But you don't know how many children, because number of children is not static or constant for all families. Different families have different number of children. So in that case, then arbitrary arguments come into play. That is part 1. Now we have what we call keyword arguments. I will talk about that in the second video. So let's just close this at arbitrary arguments.